What's going on, guys? JPP2 here. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. And for today's gameplay, we have an Adventures Pranks versus a branded Despia, with my opponent playing branded Despia going first. Now, a little bit of preview about this game. It's going to be a really spicy matchup where the opponent will IDO lock me and he will overextend heavily, which in turn will kill him. So let's get on with today's replay. So again, as you guys know, branded Despia, they do run a lot of draw power. So Allure of Darkness into Banish Tragedy, which triggers Tragedy, searching for a comedy. Now, there are a little bit of clues that you guys can pick up if you do play against these decks pretty often. One of those clues is that if these guys with the Tragedy pitch do not search for Ad Libitum, that means they already have Ad Libitum in their hand, or they're pretty stupid, let's be honest. So in this situation, it lets me know that my opponent does have Ad Libitum in his hand. So you gotta keep that in mind. So the comedy that he did search for, he's gonna pitch comedy in the grave once he is done with his combo. So comedy is an extremely busted card in Despia as well. It is used to dodge out imperms or veilers. It's even used to dodge out skill drain. So any card effect that targets their Lubellion, or let's say their Mirror Jade or Chimera, they could just tribute that card and then still have the trigger effect of the pop or banish or the fusion into Mirror Jade from Lubellion. So it's a really busted card. I would suggest, if you do have extra cards in your hand that can banish your opponent's cards, highly suggest to banish out comedy. Again, busted card. So with that, he goes with Lubellion. Of course, the branded fusion is a straight up +4/+5. One single card going +4/+5, just short of, I can't say short. Block Dragon is even more busted. Block Dragon goes like +10 or something. But still, one card going +5 is pretty ridiculous. Now, with the Mirror Jade, he does banish out a card from the field. And then he gets the Albion in the graveyard. Albion, as I told you guys, I showed you guys his graveyard. He did pitch IDO for the branded fusion to Lubellion play. So he is trying to IDO lock me. So the branded expulsion will be able to IDO lock me. With that, this guy ends his turn. So let's see. We draw into a copy of Maxi. Now right here, he instantly goes off into branded expulsion to IDO lock me completely. Now, what I should have done over here, since I do have a Call by the Grave in my hand, if I wanted to play it extremely efficiently, I would have saved the Call by the Grave for this card, which I was 100% sure was a branded in red. Like, I was 100% sure this card was branded in red. He pretty much hard drew that card. So what I should have done if I wanted to be optimal was Call by the Grave the card he targets with branded in red. Did not do that. Instead, what I did was I Call by the Graved out the Mirror Jade, okay? I do have Forbidden Droplet in my hand, so I could tribute out the IDO from my side, so IDO does not lock me anymore. So I could still go into my combo afterwards. So you guys will see what I mean when I say I Call by the Grave the Mirror Jade or anything else. So Call by the Grave on the Mirror Jade right here. Opponent goes into branded in red, targets comedy. Now, it's not that bad, let's be honest, it's not that bad, okay, to use the Call by the Grave right here on the Mirror Jade. Because Mirror Jade cannot be put back on the field currently. He does go into branded in red and then goes into his Ad Libitum into Mirror Jade, but that's going to start a whole separate chain link altogether. So Mirror Jade coming on the field will come on the field negated. So that's what I was going for over here. So with that, I maxi him as well, because he is going to be specialing out a bunch of monsters. So branded in red adds the comedy back to his hand. We pretty much know that. Then he goes into Tax Dragon. So that's, keep in mind guys, keep track of how many summons this guy does. Okay, that's one summon on Tax Dragon. For this card's fusion, he banishes Ad Libitum plus a Dramaturg from his hand. So Dramaturg gets banished from his hand. That means since it's used up as a fusion material, it can special itself on the field. Redraw into Harpies, pretty deck card, but that's okay. Call by the Grave goes through, Mirror Jade gets banished out. Expulsion gives me the IDO plus the Aluber on the opponent's side. So he IDO locks me right here, right now. Once again, I wanted to get the most benefit off of my Maxi. That's the reason why the Call by the Grave play was on the Mirror Jade versus the card that he uses to target with the branded in red. With that, that's keeping track of the summons. 2 summons so far. Now with the chain itself, Dramaturg comes in the field, that's 3 summons. The IDO that he gave me, it counts as a 4th summon, even though you only draw 1 card. It is the nib counts off of the summons themselves, not the amount of cards you draw from Maxi. And the activation of Ad Libitum will put a copy of Mirror Jade back on the field. Now if you guys counted right, that is 5 specials this guy did. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna tribute out the IDO right here, right now on the chain of the Aluber, so that way I could negate out the Tax Dragon. Tax Dragon does not tax me anymore. Dramaturg comes in the field, that's 4 specials. Mirror Jade coming on the field, that's 5 specials now. That means our nib in our hand is now online. Nib saw our opponent specialing out 5 cards. Yes, even if the opponent gives you a card, they are giving you a card, it does count towards the nib. Okay, it does count towards the nib as well. So keep that in mind if you guys are new, if you guys don't know how nib works. Nib, however, can only be activated during main phase. You guys see right here, only during main phase can you do that. So once you go into main phase, your nib becomes a yellow highlighted card, meaning it is now activatable. You can nib your opponent. So that's exactly what we were going to go for. He activates Mirror Jade on my activation of nib. Once again, it's just to pay the cost, which is extremely busted in my opinion. Paying the cost while being negated with this and pitching Albion or something in the graveyard that lets them go +5 next turn is pretty ridiculous, okay? So with that, Mirror Jade is negated because of the Call by the Grave. Nib goes through, full field gets popped. We get a nib, give our opponent the nib token. Now over here, my hand was pretty busted and my opponent did not carry any hand traps whatsoever. So I'm going to get my full combo off. I was actually going to BM my opponent. Don't get me wrong. These guys are worth to BM, okay? If they IDO lock, if they're running IDO lock and they do IDO lock you, if you can BM them 100% of the times. That's how stupid this new tech is. So I was going to go for the BM because the IDO will special itself on the opponent's side once my opponent's turn starts, and he will be IDO locked himself afterwards. So I'm going to go for my full pranks combo with the Faithful Adventure. I was not even going to go into battle phase, let's be honest. I was just going to end my turn after setting down my Forbidden Droplet with my Panday, pranks active, and pass. Seeing what my opponent could do. Now, don't get me wrong. Only BM if you know you can win the game, okay? When I say if you know you can win the game, Super Poly is a thing. He could have Super Polyed away a bunch of my cards on my side and still continued on with his play if he had a way to make a play that way. Thankfully, he realizes he's done, so he scoops the game. That's going to be it for today's game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank and video uploads. And if you guys are interested in the live version of all this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing out for today. I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace!